He kōna e purangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Ti hewa mauri ora ki te whaiau ki te o maramaki au we, ti hewa mauri ora ko Māpuna tēnei e mihi au tuana. Kia ora and welcome to the podcast Māpuna for this week, and our guest this week is the Paramount Chief of Ngati Tuwharetoa Tumu Te Heuheu. It's an extended version of an interview that I was able to do for the show The Hui not so long ago. We held this interview in his ancestral wharenui called Tāpeka at Waihi village on the banks of the Lake Taupo, not far from Tokanu, just outside of Turangi. The reason for this interview was really because of his frustration with the way in which the current government is dealing with the Tongariro National Park. He has now called for the return of Tongariro, the National Park, and other mountains, Ngāti Tuwharetoa, and of course Ruapehu, that form the Tongariro National Park. The original intent of the tuku of his ancestor, Ngati Te Heuheu, has not been realised. In his view, what his ancestor sought was a collective arrangement that led to shared governance and management of the national park, but that has never been realised. Hence, his clarion call for those mountain peaks and for the park and Tongariro to be returned. You'll hear him also talk about his advice to the next ariki of Ngati Tuwharetoa. And candidly, he expresses his current state of health. That is our podcast this week, a very special podcast indeed, and a very special interview with the ariki, the Paramount Chief of Ngati Tuwharetoa Tumu Te Heuheu e te iwi whakarongo mai. E taku ariki tēnā koe.
Kia ora.
Thank you for your time. When we first sat down to talk to each other in 2008, you told me what you wanted to achieve in your time as the ariki of Tūwharetoa.
There was a need to talk with all people in order to improve our situation. Its importance is for the motu. So our responsibility is beyond our tribal, our rohe.
Has anything changed?
No, nothing has changed necessarily, but the pathway we've moved forward has been a pathway that was set not by me but by my father, Sir Hippie. And a long journey, but it's been positive for the benefit of not only Tūwharetoa but our people collectively.
How has that been positive, exactly?
A simple way of looking at it is that simplicity today has been about collectiveness. In other words, working together for the benefit of the next generation.
You're just not talking about Tūwharetoa, are you? You're talking about Maoridom.
Yes.
What is it like having that responsibility of being a pillar of strength for that collectivism that you talk about for Maoridom?
It's been difficult because you've had to be clear in your own thinking and not confuse the landscape. But I have to say that to do anything else would have been in opposition to the role that my father left me. And that role was really about the protection and the leadership for our people.
And yet Maoridom sees you as being a leader for all of us. So whilst you were bequeathed this role for Tūwharetoa, Maoridom sees you as being a leader for all of us. How do you balance the duality of that role?
The role is a single kaupapa. It doesn't change, whether it's for Tūwharetoa or for the rest of the iwi. But the response, I suppose, the clarity is that the thinking of our people collectively gives you a kind reminder about who you are and what your responsibility is. So Tipene O'Regan continually reminds me of what my role is.
He's good at that. He does that to me too. But it feels like Maoridom needs you now more than ever because of what Maoridom is facing, because of the issues that we are currently facing.
Yes.
Has that made the role harder for you?
It consolidates the commitment that one needs to have. The role won't change until acknowledgement is received, not only from Maoridom, but also from other nations, and in particular from our Crown, from our leadership, from the government.
Do you think that can be achieved now, given the current shape of our government and the representatives of the Crown?
It's going to be difficult, given the Crown's present position and the way that they have responded, I suppose, or there's been no response at all or clarity to our people that we're supported in the aspirations that we want to achieve. Now, what I'm saying is that the journey moving forward is about coming together with the Crown and also with our people. And until that happens, it'll be difficult.
I think the last time we spoke, you were a source of wisdom and sage advice, not just for Maoridom or indeed Tūwharetoa, but also for the Crown. Does that not exist anymore?
No. The Crown, we haven't moved. The Crown hasn't changed its position or its stance. So there's still a long pathway to travel in order for us to achieve the outcomes that we receive, that we need to have for the future.
So when you see things like legislation against treaty principles, when you see this government talk about te tiriti in the way that it talks, how do you react?
I'm disappointed, really. And all I can do then is to continue the journey that we've embarked on as Tūwharetoa, but as a collective for Maoridom.
Can Maoridom really achieve kotahitanga?
I think they can.
How do you think that can be done?
Well, I'm mindful of, when Tumu Te Heuheu was alive and the pathway, the journey that he wanted to pursue, not only for Tainui but also for the rest of the country. And that journey was about working together, travelling together, and working together for a common purpose.
And do you see your role and your own responsibility in continuing to represent that kotahitanga now with Queen Ngā Waihono i Tapu?
Oh look, that's a responsibility that I can't ignore. My responsibility is to pursue the journey that was embarked upon, firstly by Te Heuheu and then by the rest of our people, the rest of the country.
I want to talk about a current issue for you personally and for Ngati Tuwharetoa in particular. And it is about the tuku of your tupuna in the 1880s. Let's begin with a simple question. What is the tuku?
The tuku was a request to come together with the Crown to work in a positive manner for everyone. Unfortunately, the Crown did not take that advice freely, and so nothing has taken place at present, and that's the relationship with the Crown.
What do you think your tupuna was trying to achieve with the tuku? And it has been called a gift undertaken in the 1880s. In your view, what was your tupuna horonuku trying to do with the tuku?
Well, basically what he was wanting to do was actually to bring our people together, to bring the Crown and Maoridom together, but also to ensure that that Tongariro maunga was well protected, and by doing that he had to be involved, or the people had to be involved in its ongoing protection, recognising that whilst that was his whakaaro, the Crown weren't in support at that time in his request. So they declared the national park over the taonga.
And when you became ariki and started in your role, how would you describe the relationship between Tūwharetoa and the Crown, specifically when it comes to the tuku that we're talking about now?
The relationship has never improved, if I can put it that way, with the Crown, but it's a tono that we continually bring forward in the hope that the Crown will at some stage do what's right. Do what's right in honour not only of Maoridom, but also in terms of Aotearoa collectively.
By do what's right, what do you mean?
Make the right decisions. Doing what's right is about working collectively for the benefit of our people.
If the Crown cannot do that, or chooses not to do that, what do you want to see happen?
Achieving the unity will never change. The unity with the Crown and with our people. It will never change. So the pathway moving forward at this stage is one that we will continue to pursue.
Does that mean that when it comes to the tuku, you want that returned?
Yes.
And by that we're talking about the maunga and the
About
national
the
park.
maunga, that's right, yes. And I keep referring to Mananui's burial on Tongariro when he passed away. And then the Crown stepped in and declared a new kaupapa for the maunga. And our people decided to return Manui's body home for burial. It's his wish, I suppose, in terms of being interred on Tongariro, is a reflection of the relationship and the respect that our people have for the taonga, for that place.
And given the Crown's current actions and its inability to achieve the aspiration that your tupuna have and that you have regarding the tuku, it has come time now, do you think, for the maunga in the national park to be returned to Tūwharetoa?
Very much so. Very much so.
That is a strong position to take at taku ariki. What you've just said is something we've never heard before. The return of the maunga in the national park. New Zealanders see themselves at one with the park now. What do you say to those people who might be surprised to hear that you are now calling for the maunga in the national park to be returned to you and to your people of Tūwharetoa?
It's the national park of Tongariro is a World Heritage status. Has World Heritage status, similar to many of the important sites throughout the world. And I was very fortunate in participating in that process, the World Heritage process, to bring our people together, not just Māori, but our people collectively together for the protection of those sites. And Tongariro is very much one of those. Bit like the rock in Australia.
Tapu tapu ate and taiti.
Yeah. But it's our whakaaro is not isolated from the rest of the world. It's something that other people, other countries are endeavouring to do. Canada, the Indians there. So it's been a long, positive journey, if I can put it that way. And we're fortunate that for us, we can just look out the window at this World Heritage site that we're trying to make sure is protected appropriately. And this is where the Crown has a role to play.
And of course, you were knighted for your services to heritage, not just for you, but for the support of your people in undertaking that work. It's not as if Ngati Tuwharetoa doesn't know how to protect a site, a heritage site, a sacred site like Tongariro. What do you think will be the ultimate benefit if the Crown continues to not uphold its responsibilities with regard to the tuku, and it is returned to you and to your people of Tūwharetoa? What would that mean for the people of Tūwharetoa, do you think?
If the maunga is returned, then the tuku has been achieved. Not only for Tūwharetoa, but for all the other iwi as well. And the aspiration is that the Crown will actually support and facilitate.
Do you honestly believe that will happen?
I have to say yes, as difficult as it might be at this stage. But the Crown is there not only for itself, for Parliament, but also for the people. It is a role in that area.
What is your message today, now, to the Crown when it comes to the tuku and the maunga?
Briefly, I suppose, my message is that Tūwharetoa in particular at this stage and the other iwi will continue to pursue what is appropriate for the maunga. And hopefully at some stage the Crown will concede and agree to work together with the Tūwharetoa.
Have you spoken about this with the Crown?
I've been waiting for them. The Prime Minister was due to travel here and then to touch base, but I haven't seen him yet.
The tribal saying says, Tongariro te maunga, taupo te moana, Tūwharetoa te iwi, te heuheu, te tangata. The Crown should have come to the maunga a long time ago.
Yes, very much so. As difficult as time might appear, there is still a confidence that we will achieve what is appropriate for Tongariro. And that includes talking or working with the Crown at this stage.
It just astonishes me that you haven't heard from the Crown.
I'm astonished too.
When we talk about the tuku, we are not just talking about Tongariro, are we?
No, we're talking about Tongariro, but also about the other iwi that have a role to play. And it's working, the aspiration is working together for the benefit of the maunga.
What is stopping that? What is the biggest barrier to your aspirations now regarding this issue?
The work with the Crown, I'm going to say the fact that the Crown is not involved doesn't provide support to the aspirations of our people. And until there's a change in that process with the Crown, Tūwharetoa will continue to work as hard as it can, I suppose, for the benefit of our people and also for the benefit of the other iwi. So the Crown is a part of the kaupapa. Sadly, it's not coming together.
I hope you don't mind me asking the question this way. What it sounds like to me is that the Crown is at last chance saloon. If the Crown doesn't show the support that you are looking for from it, you're saying the fight is on.
No.
Okay, let me put it this way then. The Crown has the opportunity to achieve your aspirations and show its support for what was originally intended by the tuku. If it does not show that support, what happens?
The next move for us, if they don't show it, is that we will need to go to the courts and have the courts consider our request. Yeah, that's...
You're giving the Crown the chance to avoid all that now, aren't you?
Yes,
And if it doesn't, the battle lines are drawn.
that's right. We can't give away anything.
It seems to me, e taku ariki, that at the end of that, there will only be one winner. That will be Tūwharetoa and the iwi. And the mountain will come back.
Yep, that's one way of looking at the kaupapa. And of course, what Tūwharetoa has aspired to in the past is that we consider looking at working collectively with the Crown, with the same aspirations. In other words, together we will make it happen. But if they don't, then it comes back to the responsibility of Tūwharetoa and iwi to put things right. And putting things right means that we may have to go to the courts to seek their advice and support.
You are putting the Crown on notice
Yes.
now. Is this potentially your last great battle?
I think it is. Well, yes, it is actually. In order to ensure that the maunga is protected and that our people collectively are being acknowledged and cared for in the best possible way. As I said earlier, moving forward for the next generation.
I wanted to talk about some other things with you, if that's okay. And I hope you don't mind me asking this. How are you?
Physically, not well. And the difficulty is that it continues to be a concern. And that's, my aspiration is to continue to try and put things right, whatever that might mean. I've had strong support from my family in terms of the wellness side of things. Cross fingers, things will work okay. Again, my role continues to be an important oversight regarding my wellness and then my ability to continue forward with the work that remains with us. Initially, I suppose we talked about the role of the arakitanga, but it's also the role of our people. The arakitanga is there to help, but our people are also important in terms of that journey. Without them, we have nothing.
Is the role and the people, are they the sources of strength that keep you going?
Yes. Yep.
I don't mean to be too forward in asking this, but when you say not well, what do you mean?
I had a fall some time ago, and the results of that fall are still with me. In other words, the pain continues, but it's with proper thinking and also with the being mindful of the responsibilities, you keep pondering over the way forward. What is it that you do to make improvements? And I'm pleased to say that as difficult as things might be, I feel confident about the pathway moving forward. The other thing, I suppose, is that, again, it comes back to the responsibility of the arikitanga. I can't take that away. And that's a whakaaro that also keeps me functioning.
I remember you said in 2008, it wasn't the role I wanted, but that's the responsibility.
Yep.
And it's a responsibility all the way through. It isn't one you can't give away. What does your whānau, your wife, your tamariki, your mokupuna, when they hear you talk like that, what do they say?
They're part and parcel of the journey that I take. In other words, they share the responsibility.
They've got no choice either.
They've got no choice. And my children, my grandchildren, all have respect for the role that is needed for that mahi. It's I have to say it makes it easy for me, not so much for them. But I'm really fortunate to have their support and the support of Tūwharetoa.
And so when you say there are still things to do because you want to smooth the pathway forward,
Yeah.
what is left to do? I know we've talked about the tuku, but what else is left to do?
I suppose the major concern or issue is regarding the protection of our people. The protection, leadership and guidance of our people. In other words, simply it just means that working together is a way forward for all of us. It's a way forward that can actually help us in the journey that we have embarked on. The journey is, that's the journey of the arikitanga. It wasn't something that I agreed to do. It was something that I was told to do. And, that's, I continually reflect on the words of Daki Downs when he said to me, "You're it." And nothing has changed since then.
Are you more confident now that Maoridom Tūwharetoa, Maoridom, is in a position to be able to achieve your aspirations, whakotahitanga, collectivism?
Yes, I am. I have every confidence at this stage that our people are on the right track. And the right track is about working together for a common purpose. That purpose is for their protection and the protection of as I said earlier, the next generation. Without that mahi, the next generation will suffer.
You have a new mokopuna.
Yes.
Te ahi pū mamao, horonuku. When you talk about that next generation, are you talking about him?
Yes.
What do you want most for him?
The importance that I place on the next generation is making sure that their well-being is being cared for and appropriately, that they have access to all the positive things that are required for the next generation to survive. So with the moko, it's a long journey, but it's a positive journey if we continually to work towards those aims of wellness. And yeah.
One final thing. When I asked you about your mokopuna and smoothing the pathway forward, and that you truly believe that Maoridom can achieve your aspirations in the future, are you proud of the fact that you have been able to create change and have contributed significantly to Maoridom for those aspirations to be achieved?
I'm really pleased that we've been able to provide the appropriate pathway to move forward into the future. I'm really pleased. As I said earlier, the pathway moving forward might be a whakaaro that I have, but it's also a kaupapa that our people have aspired to uphold. So with their support and thinking, we achieve the outcomes that we're wanting to see take place.
What would your advice be to the next ariki of Tūwharetoa?
My advice to the next ariki, that's the advice or the commitment that one needs to have, and that I will continue to support, is a commitment to the well-being of his people, to the well-being of our people collectively.
E taku ariki, ngā mana ki tanga nui ki a koe. Ngā mana ki tanga nui ki a. Me te aroha o te iwi Māori ki a koe. Tēnā koe.
Kia ora.